has he?
Probably my intro.
Okay. Gurudev Gaura Chandra Radhika Tadali Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tada Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Sri Nandananda Vande Radhika Chadana Dvayam Gopijana Samayuktam Brindavana Manoharam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Sadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Ramo. So first of all, I give pranams thousands of times. Lotus feet of our Gurudev, Om Vishnupad Sri Srimad Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Also, our Rupanuga Guru Parampara, all devotees, thank you for coming. Okay, so Rishi has wisely chosen the history of Chitraketu Maharaja. Beautiful history. Beautiful history. And there's so many teachings like an ocean. And one of my favorite parts. So, all happiness and distress come from where? Not from others, but from our own mind. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, uncontrolled mind is worst enemy, and controlled mind is best friend. Uncontrolled mind takes you to the cycle of birth and death, and controlled mind takes you to liberation. So, mind. Raghunath Goswami says mind is like twin brother. So, when we're born in this world, born with the mind. So this mind very powerful. Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj would say, no? Light travels from the sun to the earth. Is it 192,000 miles a second? It takes 7 minutes for the light to travel from the sun to the earth. But the mind can travel to the sun in 1/10 of a second. Sun, there I am. so powerful. How can control something like that? Because mind is not just going forward. What I will do, mind mostly going back. What I did. So Krishna explains to Arjuna, "O Arjuna, this mind covers the soul. This mind covers the soul." So what we're experiencing now is like the dream of the mind. So mind is there, we cannot run away from it. Like Buddhism tried to stop the mind by different types of austerities and meditation. But we consider that to be not so much effective. We cannot run away from the mind. No? Only we have to know how to use it properly. Okay, so the one who controls the mind controls all senses. One who controls mind controls everything. Okay, so this is very beautiful history, full of instruction. You know, what to do with the mind. So Chitraketu is the name of this king. Chitra means picture. So in our mind, what are we doing? We're just carrying the reservoirs, thousands and thousands of impressions, samskars. Right? What you did last life, Rishi, that is forcing us to act in the same way. And also by different association, we are also changing our direction. So by association with devotees, association with sadhu, then mind can be directed towards attainment of the real goal of life. Therefore Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, in this world, two types of persons. One is the Bahirmukh, whose all attention, meditation, thought, senses, all is going out. Women, money, job, children, this, that. But very few in this world are they're antamukha, means they're trying to go inside. So this is nice history, Rishi. If you understand this, this will help you a bundle. So, Chitraketu, he was a very powerful king. These days no one has that power. These days a king's in charge of little area. But Chitraketu was so powerful, such wealth, such opulence. He was king of the entire earth planet. We cannot imagine how powerful he was. But still, Sukadev Goswami describes, how rare is devotion. Out of many, many thousands of souls, millions and billions of souls, just on earth planet, what to speak of the aliens in the next room and the aliens in the other planets, those in the lower planetary systems. How many souls are there? We cannot count. An earth planet? I read the other day, 2 days ago actually. In India you get little exercise books writing on the back, they have some information. There's more insects and germs in 1 square mile of countryside than human beings on the earth. So what to speak, how many microbes, germs, worms, insects? Countless. And how many have human life, Rishi? How many? Very few. 7.8 billion. Practically nothing. If you think of how many microbes, insects, germs. So human being is very rare. So, amongst the human beings, most are like animals. Because all their efforts for how can I eat, how can I have sex, how can I defend my property, how I can sleep, how can I enjoy. So most full of desires for something in this world. So very few even desire liberation. Very few. Prayama mukshavas tesham kavaneta dvijotama vamukshavan sahasri sukhashin musheta siddhaya. Out of how many human beings who even heard of the word liberation? Have you heard it, Rishi? There is a state liberation, freedom from birth and death. So, who even heard this? Who is even aspiring for this? That is rare. What to speak of someone who actually attained liberation? That is rare. And out of thousands of liberated souls, Muktinam Apisidanam Narayana Parayana Sudulabha Prashantatma Kotas Api Mahamani. And of so many liberated souls, to find even one devotee of Krishna, that is rare. Muktinam Apisidanam Narayana Parayana. Parayan means devoted. Those who are devoted to the Supreme Lord, Narayan, Krishna, to keep it easy. Narayan means who gives shelter to all souls, naras. So who is the shelter of all souls? That is Narayan or Krishna. So even out amongst many liberated souls, to find even one devotee of Krishna, so rare. Katas api mahamuni. So, this devotion is the only thing which is not destroyed by death, by time. When we die, my iPad will stay here. My passport will stay. Everything will stay here. No? But one thing I will take with me, one thing we all will take with us, how much devotion we did, how much we heard, how much we spoke, if we did any service, how much prasad we took, how much effort we made in spiritual life, that will not be lost at the time of death. And next life, you'll take that with you. So this is like eternal bank account. So, Arjuna asked that question. What if one gives up material life, tries to enter spiritual life, but dies and is not successful? Then Arjuna says, is that person not like a riven cloud? Neither here nor there. Material loser and spiritual loser. So he loses in both worlds. Krishna says no. Who did a little bit of devotion. Next life they take birth in wealthy family. No. But this is not so great birth, because too much wealth means high chance you're going to go off the side of the road. So much money means what? Women, gambling, all these things. So this is not such a great birth. No. But we did a lot of devotion. Next life can take birth in family of transcendentalists. From birth they hear Krishna. From birth they see they follow Ekadasi. From birth they do all this. Limbs of devotion. Like Didi, from birth hearing names, Nitai Gaur. From birth chanting Harinam. Her mother 12 years not even spoke to her own children, just Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Imagine growing up with a mother like that. then you have a different mind, different mentality. You know that story? Mother not even talk to her own husband or own children. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Wow.
Some vow she took, some promise.
She took a vow for 12 years.
Just to chant Hare Krishna. Not even talking only family members. So you grow up with a mother like that, some different mood will come, different impressions. So, don't fear. No, don't fear. If I die, what will happen? No problem. You take this wealth with you. In this path of devotion, there is no loss, no diminution. No, that is the eternal sampat, internal wealth of the soul. So what is the proof of all this? Proof is history of Chitraketu. No? Just in case we have doubt. So Chitraketu, he had 10 million wives. Okay, Rishi didn't even blink. This man can be a devotee. This man can be a devotee. How possible? These days, person cannot even afford one wife. But so much wealth, so much power. And this not this age where people only live 60 or 70 years. No, he lived Satyuga, so hundreds of thousands of years was his lifespan. So not impossible. So he was equipped with so much power, strength, wealth, and no problem. But first wife he married could not produce a child. So not that he threw her in the garbage pile. No, he kept. Married again, could not have a child. Again, 10 million wives. But providence is there, no child. So, of course, he was distressed. No? From none of the wombs of his wives he could produce any son, any heir. No? So, even though Chitraketu had beauty, youth, wealth, was born in a high family, was so educated, so intelligent, wealthy and opulent, because he had no child, he was disappointed, not satisfied. All his queens were beautiful, had eyes like lotuses, but he could find no happiness from his millions of wives and all opulence, no? Because he thought, if I could have a son, my life would be perfect. And people mostly like that. If I could just get this, then I would be satisfied. People like dog chasing his tail, right? If I could just do this, I could be happy. Oh no, now I want something else. No, like a chain. So, Chitraketu, normally if someone gets wealth, they become proud and don't give respect to anyone. But Chitraketu was not like that. This is a sign of a great person who has everything, but still so humble, so well behaved. This is rare. So one day the great sage Angira Rishi came to visit the king. So before the kings would rule the country, but taking all advice from the sages, because sages have no desire for anything, so they always give neutral and perfect advice, which is good for everyone. No? Therefore it says, if guru, doctor, or advisor, these three should always be neutral. Right? If doctor is not neutral, he cannot give proper medicine. No, like Kevin has, imagine Kevin was a millionaire and he has diabetes. And the doctor, so Kevin, no more sugar. Come on, doctor. I'll give you a little money, give me some nice medicine. And the doctor may become influenced by greed and not give proper advice, proper medicine. So before, the kings would control everything but always take advice from those in superior spiritual position. No? So when Angira Rishi came, right, and immediately Chitraketu stood up, offered his throne to the sage. This is yours. This is all property is yours. And the king sat, even though he was king, he sat at the sage's feet very humbly. No? So you will not find any king like that these days. No? So Angira Rishi, he looked at the king. No? So great persons, they know everything, past, present, future. We try to cheat them and hide, but you cannot hide from them. They know, who knows Krishna knows everything. Sometimes we think, oh, sadhu knows only spiritual things, but material things they don't know. But no, they know everything. So Angira Rishi looked at the king and said, "It seems, king, you are not happy. What's going on? Are the citizens, the businessmen, not paying their taxes? Are the citizens not respecting you? Are your queens not fulfilling your desires? No. What's going on? Are the crops, the fields not producing crops? No. So, what is the cause of your distress? Please tell us. So the king, he said, "Oh, Maharaj, you know everything. Nothing to hide from you. But still, because you asked, then I must tell you. No. Like a man dying of thirst, if you give him a flower garland, will he be happy? Like a man dying of thirst, you give him some sandalwood paste on his forehead. Is he going to be happy? In the same way, a man dying from hunger and thirst is not happy by a flower garland or some sandalwood paste. Because I have no son, no child, I cannot feel any happiness at all from my treasury, from my wives, from my citizens, from my family members. O sage, you know everything. Nothing is impossible for you. You control the Supreme Lord. You control Krishna by your love. Therefore, who can do that, then what is impossible for him? So I heard saintly persons are very kind, they fulfill the desires of everyone. So please, I am begging you, who can make the impossible possible, give me a son. Make some arrangement. So it's true saintly persons fulfill all desires. No? But we should be careful not to desire something which is bad for us. No? They say there's a magic tree, mythical tree called what's it called? Calpers. Whatever you desire from a Calpers, it gives you. So there's a story. There was one king who was lost in the forest. And he was tired, he fell asleep under a Calpers, but he didn't know this was Calpers. But he was thinking, my God, I'm so thirsty. If I could get a drink, that'd be great. And immediately a 5-liter lassi appeared before him, mango lassi. How that came? And the king understood, like, this tree must be a mythical Calpers tree. Good fortune I found. So he drank his lassi, then he thought, geez, I'm hungry also. Ding! 64 different preparations. And the king ate like anything. After eating too much, what happens, Purushottam? Sleep. Tired. Because I would like a rest, but immediately a 4-poster bed came, huge. So he's sleeping on the bed, and when you eat too much, then mind is going. So king thought, today I not saw any tiger here. One tiger came. Oh my God, what would happen if he killed me? Tiger jumped up and took his life. This is not the fault of the tree. This is the fault of the king. So it says Krishna, the name of Krishna, the holy places, holy, they're like that. What you want, they give. But you are stupid, you ask for something foolish, that is not the fault of Krishna. So it said, generally should not want anything. The problem is we don't even know what to desire. Imagine if Krishna came in here, Richie, what do you want? I'll give you. What would you ask for? New washing machine? I don't know. Something. So we should not desire these things, because these are insignificant things. These are insignificant. You cannot take the washing machine or the car with you at the time of death. So you should ask for something which is always yours. So Krishna says, Krishna koi ama bhajan majai visai sukh amrita chare visai pibe ei baramurk. Krishna said, if someone worships me and desires some material thing, he is a fool, idiot. Why? Because he's giving up nectar and asking, give poison. But ami vigya ei murk visai kena dibo swacharanam dibe visai bolibo. Krishna says, but I'm not a fool. He's an idiot, but I'm not an idiot. Why I give him poison? So we may desire, that's why we need a high class of association. They will teach us when you chant what you should think. When you chant what you should desire. And therefore you need Guru for that reason. Tasmad Guru Prapadyeta Gigyasa Shayutama. Why you need Guru? Because you from the Guru should ask only one question. Gigyasa Shreya Uttama. What's the best thing for me? What's the highest thing? We don't know because we never experienced anything, no? But they have experienced what is the best thing. No? So Guru will always give us advice, not on how to run your business or where to put your children in school, but what you should think of, what you should desire from these names of Krishna, from Krishna himself, from the devotees. So, be careful. This story means take care. So, Angita Rishi has no desires, material desires, but he sees this king cannot hear anything. Does he know, what's your friend last night?
Right.
Do you know Vaik?
No.
No, you're lucky. Oh, different group.
Yeah.
One boy came yesterday, 5 minutes, then he's running. Because that means his ears full of wax, full of desire, other desire. And you hear about Krishna, then Krishna's like last on the list. So people with too many desire, they cannot hear about Krishna. They cannot hear anything. They run. They have allergy to it. They have strong allergy towards topics of Krishna. So, Angita Rishi realizes he cannot hear anything. No use telling me, no use like me telling him, you are the soul, soul has no wife or sons or permanent relation with anyone. No, me, because he cannot hear anything. So Angita Rishi thinking, okay. It's said, Krishna generally not give these bad things, generally. But if someone really wants, okay, Richie, Krishna gives in such a way, you're never going to ask for it again. You'll never ask for it again. This is Krishna's speciality. Maybe known in Hindu culture, people worship many demigods, like some worship Ganesh or Shiva or Brahma or Durga. Why? Because quickly they give this. No. But the demigods give these things. But the demigods not thinking, this is good for that person or bad. No. Like Ravan. Sorry. Ravan, one demon, he so much worshipped Shiva. And what he asked for, the benedictions that he asked for, Shiva gave him, but these benedictions killed him, finished him. They were the cause of his own destruction. So demigods fulfilling desires, but demigods not thinking, this is good for him or bad for him. What you want, they give. But Krishna is more merciful, more kind. Krishna thinking this thing is good for him or not. Krishna thinking. So sometimes if someone really wants something, Krishna gives, but not like that. He gives in such a way which will cause ultimate benefit for that person. No? He gives in such a way that person never ask again. No? Like Gautam told a story, there was a dog, a jackal. So Jackal was walking through the sugarcane field. Then he saw a sugarcane. What's this? Some nice fragrance. So he began licking the sugarcane. So sweet, you know. Then Jackal licking. My God, this is great, you know. Then he looked up and there was a wasp's nest. And Jackal has jackal brain. If this is the tree, imagine what the fruit's like. Like you eat a mango, but you lick the mango tree, no sweetness in the tree, right? But the sweetness in the fruit. So Jackal thinking, if the tree is like this, imagine what that thing's like. The fruit. So Jackal began jumping. He took a big bite, and what happened? Thousands and thousands of wasps began stinging him. And he began, arr, arr, arr. And he's running, and all the wasps are following him like a shower and pouring stings on him. And that dog is running, arr, arr, arr. I promise I never eat that fruit again. I never touch it again. So Krishna's like that. You want something, be careful. Because he'll give you. But he'll give you in such a way that, like a proper doctor, he cured the disease, but he cured the disease in such a way that disease never come back. You know? So that is Krishna's speciality. So number one, don't desire anything. And number two, if you do desire, be ready. Be ready. You know? So in the same way Angita could see, this man cannot hear. Okay. I'll give him a son, but a special son. So Angita Rishi blessed him. You will have a son, and you should call him Sokka Harsh. Sokka means lamentation. Sokka Harsh. Happiness and lamentation. He'll give you great bliss, great happiness, but he'll give you great suffering. And what's the meaning? You're not explaining. He disappeared. Anyway, he gave him something. He gave that to his wife to drink. And Kritaduti was her name. The first queen gave birth, became pregnant. No? Angita, the king in bliss. Imagine 10 million wives. Finally you get a son. So much happy. No? Like the moon gradually increases till the full moon becomes more and more beautiful. Now moon is just full the other day, so it's going down. But like the full moon increase as it goes to full moon, the beauty of Kritaduti, the wife, as the child grew in her womb, then she became more beautiful. King's happiness knew no limit. So happy. No? So, the child was born, and all citizens so blissful, because at that time people would think king is like father. And father behaved like, king behaved like father also. How protect and maintain the citizens, no? So just like when a relative has a kid, everyone becomes so much happy, right? So all citizens blissful, everyone cheerful, everyone happy, except for 10 million co-wives. 10 million co-wives were not too much happy. Why? Because king now, he never speaks to us. He never looks at us. Why? He gives his full attention to the queen who gave him a son. So, neglected woman means how much? What is it? There is no wrath.
Woman's scorn. Yeah, like a woman's scorn.
No wrath like a woman's scorn. So they began complaining amongst themselves. At least the maidservants who clean the palace, who polish, at least the king talks to them, do this, do that. But to us, he never talks. Instead, he gives his full affection to this one. Why we are neglected? What's the cause of our unhappiness? The cause is this little kid. He is the cause of our suffering. So they began, as time went on, become more angry, more like snake, more angry, more violent. Child grew up, and so beautiful child, everybody loved him, especially the king. When the king came to 5 years old, the queen's like a person possessed by a fever which does not decrease. Those queens' suffering and misery and envy not decreased with time, only increased. So they plotted amongst themselves. What did they do, Rishi? Fed some poison in the milk and gave to the little boy, Sokka. They poisoned him. The child fell asleep dead, but no one could understand. Early in the morning, this story is terrible, isn't it? This story. This is Bhagavatam. So in the morning, when the nursemaid, what do you call, looks after the children, nanny. Imagine she came to wake the child. Child's eyes were turned up. His face was blue. Some foam was there. What's going on? Then imagine the nanny become. Child is dead. Who are they going to blame? She began weeping like a mad woman. What's going on? She began screaming. Then all the other servants, what's going on? Child is dead. Then the queen, Kritaduti, came. No. When she saw the child was dead, she became like a mad woman. No. Like a mad, as you could imagine, who had a child. So, like a woman, like a person possessed by a ghost, she became mad with lamentation. Again and again, she calling the name of the child and weeping. So she is weeping. All the citizens weeping, the guards and nannies, everyone weeping. The 10 million co-wives also have some chili in the eye. All began weeping. So Kritaduti, sometimes you see in funerals. In the West, you do not see so much. People, not so much, too much affection. Who's gone, gone. So you see, sometimes in funerals, people become like mad. So, especially the mother, you can imagine, small child. So, that time the mother began weeping like a mad person, shouting. The king heard this news. King came running down. King, my son is dead. Like a banana tree cut in a storm. How it falls, the king fell like that, unconscious. Sometimes Krishna kind. So much pain, that person falls unconscious. So when he came up, his mouth open, crying like Kurari bird. What do you call them? In India is big crane. Kurari. They only marry one wife. And when one dies, the other one also dies with broken heart. God, this is Joyful pastimes. So like you imagine the cry bird crying with its mouth open, the king like that position, weeping like a mad person. Again and again, he weeping and falling unconscious. Get to stand up again, remember, again fall unconscious. Like this again and again, the king falling on the ground. Everyone weeping. That time, the queen holding her dead son. Oh, my son, wake up. You must be hungry. Your friends are calling you. You must be thirsty. Drink my breast milk. Come, king is calling. My son, come, sit on my throne. No, this kingdom, everything here is for you. The boy was dead, no one to hear. Have you been to a funeral, Richie? Why is everyone crying? The body is there. Why everyone crying? If we're just the body, why everyone cries in a funeral? Because the feeling is the person has left. Right? Who is the person? The soul. Right? Who are you, Richie? The body or the soul? The soul. The real person is not this thing. The real person is the soul inside. So, king weeping like this. You could imagine the scene, king weeping, queen weeping, all citizens weeping, everyone like mad. That time, the same Augusta Rishi, Angira, the same Angira Rishi came. With another great saint called Narad Rishi. Narad Rishi is like the Vedic Jesus. Everybody know him. So famous person. These two great saints again came in such a situation. You could imagine the scene. Okay, just wait. And what did he say? What words of advice they gave him? We'll just read a little bit of the Queen's Lamentation. Now, when something goes wrong, everyone always blames God, right? But not thinking, I'm getting the results of my own activity. This have nothing to do with God. What you do, if I punch myself in the face, can I blame God? No, I did the activity. So the Supreme Lord just giving the results, like a neutral, like a witness. No? But He is not responsible for the results of the activity. We are responsible. No? So, the flowers on the neck of the Queen broke. Her hair was scattered. No? All the, what you call, mascara was running down her face. No? Her breasts, which were covered in kumkum, like, what's that, makeup, that was streaked with the black tears from her eyes. She was loudly crying like the Kurari bird. And what she said, "O Providence, O Creator, O God, you are certainly inexperienced and foolish. You are like a child who have no knowledge. A child makes a sandcastle and then for no reason breaks it. You are like that. You bring people together, they have affection, and then for no reason you break this. O Vidata, you are very cruel, very inexperienced." She began criticizing like that. "You are certainly the enemy of the souls in this world." Vlak, no, they say in Russian. Enemy of the people. No. Why you've created normal rule, father dies before the son. Why you make this rule that now the son dies before the father? If you say everything is a result of the activities, then why need a God? No, this is all atheism. When someone too much suffer, they become angry, cannot understand, and many people turn to atheism. So in this way, she's a bit like that, no? If everything the result of activities, who even needs a God? She's saying. Then get lost. Who needs you? No. So, your action just give pain and suffering for no reason. You've cut the bonds of affection. You've created the affection which causes a parent to raise a child, and now you are giving this same affection, which is the cause of so much suffering. "My son, I am very sad. You should not give up my association. Just look how much your father is crying. We are helpless. Without a son, how we will live. You are our only hope, like the beacon of our life, like the lighthouse. I request you do not go any further towards death. Come back, come back." The mother, you could imagine the mother saying all these things. My son, you have slept for a long time. Please get up. Your friends are calling you to play. You must be very hungry and thirsty. Get up, take my breast milk. Destroy our lamentation, our sadness. I am most unfortunate, my son. I will not see your smiling face again. You have closed your eyes forever. Therefore you are going to that place from which no one returns. Death. I cannot hear your voice. You could imagine the scene. At this scene with everyone weeping, the great sage Angira again came with Narada. And what did he say? What words of pacification? O foolish king, what relation you have with this dead body? And what relationship this dead body has with you? Does the body have any relation to another body? Rishi, you're already dead. Sorry for the bad news. This body is what? This body is dead. Atoms, meat, skin, bone, flesh. It's already dead. Only the soul is there, then consciousness is there. But this body has no life. The body is already dead. So what relation this dead body has with you now? And what relation you have with this dead body? You say, this is my son and I am his father, but is that relationship true? No, it is not true. Was it ever true? Is it true now? Was it true in the past? What relationship one soul has with another? The souls in this world are like pieces of sticks in a river, or sand in a river. Come together for a few hours, everyone now thinking of their family, right? We come together, how long we stay together? No, like sticks in a river. Come together for a few seconds, then parted. All relations, husband, wife, father, son, whatever relation in this world. Friend, as particles of sand are pushed together and then pushed, separated by the force of the river, the force of time separates all living entities from one another. No soul has any permanent relation with any soul. Nice words of pacification, right? When patient is unconscious, that time cut. So they say like that. Real sadhu not praise us to get some donation or get some money. They always speak like this. Very rare person can speak like this. No? A normal person would think if I speak nice to the king, he's going to give me a nice donation. No, but only real sadhu has this type of power of detachment. Real power. Very rare person like this. Gurudev had that power. One time there was one very wealthy man. Gurudev, he would travel, sometimes stay with poor persons or wealthy persons according to providence. One time he stayed with one man in Mexico. My God, I stayed in that house. I promise you, Richie, I used to get lost going to the bathroom. I used to get lost trying to find the way to the bathroom. It was just so enormous. There were swimming pools. They had to drag me out. I was like, no, just one more day. Anyway, this man's house was huge. And he was showing Gurudev the house. This is my swimming pool. This. And Gurudev was just listening. Gurudev put his arm around his shoulder and goes, of course, when you die, you'll take it all with you, won't you? The man's face was like, he never thought like this. Anyway, it's a rare person. This is really saintly person, not who just squeezes your money out of you. That type of person you can find everywhere. You can give this type of perfect and neutral instruction. That is very rare. So Shiva said, Guru Bahuvu Shanti Shishya Santapaka. Someone asked to Shiva, what is Guru? Then Shiva laughed. Guru is many, no problem to find Guru. A Guru who can take all your money, this type of Guru is everywhere, like leaves in the autumn season. But real Guru who can take away your ignorance and your suffering and your pain, this type of Guru is very rare. Anyway, many stories we can tell, but this type of person very high. We should look for this type of person. Not who makes us feel comfortable in some material situation, but who separates us from our ignorance, removes us from our own suffering. Gurudev would say, if you put gold into fire, put gold into fire, then you take it out and you beat it, then you put it back into the fire. until it melts. Then you take it out and beat it 100 times. That gold becomes pure. So Gurudev said, I'm like that. I'll put you into fire. Then he pulls you out. I'm getting some relief. No, then the beat. Oh, he stopped beating me. Thank God. Into the fire. Then that gold becomes pure. All impurity is destroyed. And Gurudev would say, if you are not ready for that, stay far away from that. So you see, Gurudev had many disciples, but most not want that. Therefore they always stay far away. And most people, when they choose like some saint or they choose someone who's going to encourage me in my material life, who make all facility for my material life. Most people like that, therefore they get that type of so-called guru. Understand what I'm saying, Rishi? We just make some arrangement for their enjoyment. But real guru, who take away all that thing, most people don't want that type. So they cheat themselves. So even though it's painful, some pain is there, Rishi, definitely, when you get the hammer. But this always gives happiness after. What's your name, mother? Again? Kina? Janaki. So I heard you had some questions about Guru, so Guru should be that level. Who not looking anything what I can get from the disciple. Who never looked at them. No interest. Who have no interest in that thing. But who only have interest in what is good for you. That time we should pray to Krishna for that type of guidance. Then you can get something. So, when Gurudev, I'll tell one more story. When Gurudev first came to Australia, 96, then people were saying many bad things about him already. So he came. So many people came. What is the Narayan Maharaj? They heard about him. What is he? What is he? How is he? So it was like all were there, all were different. What are you doing? So Gurudev, I thought, what's he going to do in such a situation? So Gurudev spoke. I'm an old man. He said, I'm an old man. He says, I can only eat this much rice. In one meal, I can only eat this much. I'm old man. He says, I do not have to fly halfway around the world to get this much rice. He says, I can get that very easily in India. He said, I have not come here to collect. I have not come here to take. I have come here to give. No. If you want to take as much as you like. And if no one takes, no problem, he said. I just take my basket and go back to Vrindavan.
Wow.
I remember such a perfect thing for everyone. Everyone mouth open.
Yeah.
Because everyone else
It's
came.
melt, isn't it? It's like,
Like we say, everyone come to England to preach, but if you came here for rupees, no one would come. And if you got pounds in India, no one would leave. So most people like that. So like Sadguru, like Angira Rishi, like Narad, this type of advice. Like seeds are spread in the ground, they say. Sometimes the seeds sprout, other times do not sprout. In the same way, sometimes husband and wife to come together, sometimes child comes, other time child does not come. This is providence, which is ultimately controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. O King, you should understand, like everything you saw in a dream. Like this morning, last night, so funny dream, I won't tell you. Right? You wake up, what happened? Where'd she go? What's this? Many things you see in dream, not real. At the time, look real. But when you wake up, you realize, stupid, nothing is there. In the same way, King, now you are like dreaming. You are thinking, my wife, my ministers, my wealth, my son. But this is all temporary, like things you see in a dream. Everyone, me, the Angiri Rishi said, me, you, all these queens, all these ministers, everyone is in a temporary situation, constantly moving. So, why become attached to one particular situation? Don't. Because it's temporary, like time is moving everything. They say different types of destruction in Vedic thought. One is Atyantik Pralay, when the whole entire creation is finished. But one is Kshanik Pralay. It means every second there's a destruction. Purushottam 1 second ago was not the same. There's hair became whiter by 1 second. Old age affecting by 1 second. So every second is Kshanik Pralay. So in the same way, everything is temporary. Everything. No. As one seed grows from another seed, right? You plant a tomato seed, it grows into a tomato tree, it grows more seeds. As one seed grows into another seed, from the Father comes the Son. This is not wonderful. This is just changing of bodies. But soul remains unchanged and eternal. Thus, hearing the words of Angira, Chitraketu became hopeful. He wiped his face, looking. The king began to speak. The king was so mad he could not even recognize this is the same Angira who blessed me with a son. He couldn't recognize it. So much mad. You have both come here dressed like mad persons. Right? This is madness, right? Social death, the Hare Krishna movement. You have both come here dressed like madmen. Because saintly persons, we have this uniform, but high-class person, what's the uniform for a liberated soul? There's no uniform. So, you are dressed like avaduts. We have many rules to follow because we're trying to achieve perfection. But someone who has achieved perfection, everything they do is perfect. All rules follow them. Understand? So, you are concealing your identities. No? But I can tell you are greatly liberated souls. Who are you? The king couldn't even recognize this. He couldn't even recognize them. That's how much he'd become mad. If your father was here tonight, it would be good. No? In Hindu culture, for Vedic culture, they're called the caste system. You've heard of it, right, Rishi? It's not based on birth, it's based on qualities. Right? Some people like to work with their hands. They're called Sudras. Some people like to do business. They're called Vaishyas. Some people like the military life. Kshatriyas. Some people inclined to spiritual life, meditation and study. Brahmanas. It's not by birth. That is a great tragedy which has crept into society and made it destroyed what it is. Just because your father's a doctor, you don't become a doctor automatically, right? So birth is not the qualification for caste. One's nature is a quality. You know? So, sometimes the topmost caste, the Brahmanas who are inclined to study in spiritual life, sometimes they achieve perfection, they achieve the platform of the Vaishnava. Okay, that's what we're trying to become. Vaishnavas, the servant of Vishnu, the servant of Krishna. So sometimes a Brahmana becomes exalted to the position of a Vaishnava, devotee of Krishna. Remember in the beginning of class? Even many liberated souls, there may be only one devotee of Krishna. So same thing the king is saying. These most dear servants of Krishna sometimes dress like madmen. Just to benefit materialists like us. One time Gurudev was at Nidhuvan and Gurudev would wear red cloth like this. This is for benefit of materialistic person. Oh, that's a saintly person. But what's the dress of a saintly person? It's not just by, this stuff. But anyway, for materialists, gives them some idea. So, Gurudev was in Nidhuvan once, and he said, he's like, and he said, I hope next life I can just go naked. No signs, no nothing, just like that. He said, I remember he said like that. So, sometimes these persons dress like madmen. Why? Just to benefit materialistic persons like us who are fully attached to this world. These Vaishnavas, the devotees of Krishna, wander here just for the benefit of others, like the sun. We don't believe the sun's there and everything goes around. No, we believe the sun also moves around. The sun moves everywhere, not for his own benefit, for the benefit of the universe. So sometimes Vaishnavas are like that. I've heard amongst the greatest souls, there are some sadhus called, some different names they gave. Are you the four Kumaras, one of the four Kumaras? Are you Narad? Yes, one of them was Narad, but he didn't know, because he'd heard Narad, but he'd never seen. So Chitraketu didn't know. So Chitraketu asked him, here are some names, maybe some of you have heard of them. No? Are you the Sanat Kumar? Are you Ribu? Angira? Angira. Devala, Krishna mentions his name in Bhagavad Gita. When Arjuna says, oh Krishna, not you are just saying you are God, but Narad, Devala, Asit, these three names in a row, Arjuna says, All these saintly persons are saying the same thing. Yes, Krishna is God. So Vyasadeva, we were talking about him before, right? Who was we talking about Vyasadeva this morning? Markandeya, Gautam, Vasishta, famous. Vishwamitra, right? There he is, there, Rishi. Vishwamitra, there his name is. Parasuram, no picture of him here.
No.
These are all famous saints in the Vedic tradition. Kapila, Sukadev, Durvas, Yagyavalka, famous Jatukarma. When he was born, he went for studies, Jatukarma. So the Guru asked, what's your caste? What's your caste? Because only those who are interested, have the nature of studies and religious life, they would go to the religious schools. The Guru asked, what's your caste? The boy said, I don't know. You go and ask your mother. So Jatukarma went back to his mother. Oh, mother, what caste I am? My father, who is my father? What caste I am? Then mother said, son, take a seat. When I was young, I was like a prostitute. I had many, many men. So I don't know who is your father. I don't know. So the boy went back to the Guru. The Guru asked him, what caste are you in? And the boy said, my mother was a prostitute. She said, I don't know my caste. And the Guru said, what? You must be Brahman. Only Brahman always speaks the truth. So by your nature, they always speak the truth. Because, right? If that was us, yeah, our mum said, yeah, I was a Brahman. We would keep it hidden, right? Yeah. He spoke the truth. So the Guru said, only Brahman can always speak the truth like this. So your nature is Brahman. That is Jatukarma, if I'm not mistaken. Aruni, he's another. These are all famous. So many histories about them. Domya, Chavan, famous. Dattatreya, they all give in this Bhagavatam. This Bhagavatam is all spoken by mostly these same sages. Like Chavan Rishi, Dattatreya, all their instructions are also in the same book. Asuri Rishi, he went with Shiva to become, when Shiva became a gopi, Asuri Rishi was with him. He also became a gopi by the mercy of Purnamasi Devi. Patanjali, anyway. So amongst all of these, which are you two? No. Who are you? Then, because you are great persons, you can give knowledge. So the king said, I am foolish like a village dog, like a pig. He said, I'm a village animal. What does a village animal eat in India? Stool. I'm like that. Because whole life eating stool means material enjoyment. That is animal life. What king would speak like, you think Queen Victoria would get it? I'm like a village animal. I'm like a pig or a hog. Prince Charles. Prince Andrew.
He is.
Would they say it? They are pigs and dogs, but they can't say it. They don't know. But Chitraketu is not a pig or dog, high class person, but he feels like this. So this humility, this is his qualification. I'm like a pig or a dog, just eating the stool of this world. I am merged fully in ignorance, darkness. Please be merciful and give me the torchlight of knowledge. So Angira Rishi said, I am the same Angira who gave you a son. You cannot recognize. And this is the son of Brahma, Narad, famous saint. The direct son of Lord Brahma. In our Guru Parampara, our first Guru is Krishna, then Brahma, then Narad. So here also in this line. O king, you are a great person, a great devotee. Somehow now you are temporarily just confused, bewildered, but this is not your nature. This now your present state, this is unsuitable for a great person like you. We have both come to relieve you of this false misery, this false lamentation, which is due to ignorance only. What ignorance? I am this body, and this son is mine. Therefore, wake up, wake up. When I first came, I could have given you the same knowledge, but I saw you were in no fit position. So I gave you a son who would give you happiness and distress. O king, you are now actually experiencing the misery of a person who has sons and daughters. O king, anyway, One's kingdom, military power, treasury, servants, ministers, friends and relatives are the causes of fear, illusion, lamentation and distress. Like money, right, Richie? How hard to get it? How hard you have to work to get something like money or a wife, for example. Once you've got it, then fear. Who's going to take it? Where I'm going to hide it? And when you lose it, then suffering. No? These things are all like non-permanent things seen in a dream. They are no better than illusions, dreams, or mental concoctions. What you see in this world has no permanent existence, King. Okay. Anyway, many instructions they gave. The living entity creates his next body because of his mental desires. So the mind is the cause of the soul going from one body to the next. And this body is the cause of all misery. Right? We think this body is the cause of enjoyment. That's our big mistake, Richie. This body is the cause of all suffering, especially in old age, right? No, 3 fingers coming back. Old age can experience a little bit, no? So try to think, King, who are you? Are you the soul? Are you the body? Or are you the mind? Where have you come from? When you give up this body, where will you go? Why you are now bewildered as to the goal of life? Why you are now suffering? Right, Richie? Why are you suffering? What's the cause of suffering? No one wants to suffer, but we have to accept it. Why? Why we have to accept something we don't want? Therefore, King, give up this unnecessary attachment. You should abandon anything which is not directly in touch with the service of Krishna. Now it said, O great soul, receive from me a mantra. Receive from me a mantra which is most auspicious. If you chant this mantra in 7 days, you will see the Supreme Lord face to face. My dear King, in former days, Shiva and other demigods also chanted the same mantra. It's not that the Guru makes up his own mantra, no. It's received from the previous authorities. Very quickly you will achieve all perfection. So, Angita Rishi touched the dead boy who came to life again. Imagine. Wake up, my son. Enjoy the property of your father. Your friends and relatives are here. Your father especially is overwhelmed by grief, by your death. Get up. Enjoy life. You died untimely. I bestow the balance of your life. I give to you. May you re-enter your body. Right? When the soul enters the body, birth. When the soul leaves the body, death. So re-enter your body. Enjoy the remainder of your life. Surrounded by your friends and relatives, enjoy the property of your father. By the mystic power of Narad, the soul re-entered the body. The dead boy got up, wiped his eyes. Imagine. The Vedic Lazarus. And what did the boy say? I cannot remember who is my father. Imagine. My son, who are you? Every life you get a mother and father, right? Even a cat has a mother and father. Mouse, dog, worm, beetle, parasite, spinach, tree. No one takes birth without a mother and father. So the dead, imagine, dead boy comes to life and the first thing he says, who are you? I cannot remember who is my mother and father. Nice speech from the dead boy. What are you thinking of all this, Richie? It's like, that's why no one ever comes back, isn't it? Go to other spiritual groups, they'll make you feel great. You're good, all's good, Richie. No, all is not good. So the dead boy spoke. Now we'll explain after how a child can give this type of knowledge. You listen what this boy, what lecture he gives. No? The same thing he's saying. No? This material world is like a river. Relatives, friends, enemies even, come together and separate it. They act neutrally, Sometimes they despise each other. Sometimes they're friendship. Sometimes love. Nonetheless, despite these various transactions, no one has a permanent relationship with the other. Just like a piece of gold. Okay, no one has gold anymore. Like a £5 note. Right? Purushottam gives me a £5 note, which he stole from his 7-Eleven. Right? So that gold, the £5 note was the property of the owner. He stole it from the cash register. It came to him. Then it came to me. I went to the supermarket, bought something. Now it goes to the guy who owns the supermarket. He pays his debt. It goes to the bank. That £5 note belongs to who? Just going from one to another to another. Like the soul. Soul constantly going from one body to the next body to the next body. But who it belongs to? So this is gold. Is continually transferred from one place to another in due course of purchase and sale. So the soul, the living entity, as a result of his activities, wanders through the universe, being injected into various bodies and different species of life, one after another. Okay, Richie, if you died, where would you go? What's the next body? Be careful, right? We're thinking, we live forever, no problem. No. God forbid, maybe you will be killed tonight. Right? Many people died today in London who never thought they would die. One guy, I was stuck in the airport. I went to stay with one friend. He said his grandmother went out to water the strawberries, just dropped dead like that in the garden. Many nice stories I collected. Right? She never thought I'm going to die. Dropped dead. How many people die in London every day? One time I looked it up. God, I'm a fountain of joy today. 1,500 people die every day in UK. And probably most of them never thought they would die. Accident, heart attack, stroke. Like that. So, a few, as they go from one body to another, a few get the human form of life. Others are mostly born as animals, plants. Others like that. For some time, like an animal stays in, like I buy a cow and sell it to another guy who sells it. The soul stays in one body just for a short period of time, then it's transferred. As soon as the animal is sold or the gold is given away, you lose relationship with the source. So, in the same way, the soul is eternal and imperishable. He has no beginning and end. He never takes birth or dies. Only the body takes birth and dies, not the soul. He is the basic principle of all bodies, yet he does not belong to any body. The living being, that soul is so sublime, he is equal to the Supreme Lord in quantity, quality. God is spiritual, we are also spiritual. But there's difference. He is unlimited, we are limited. So difference is there. Even this, because the soul is so small, it can be captured by illusion. Thus, by his desires, he creates material bodies for himself, one after the other. Big lecture the boy gives, the cause of birth and death, all these things. That time when the boy spoke in this way about detachment, the bodily, destroying the bodily concept of life, where you think I am this body. Then the boy died again. Imagine dying twice in one day. But his words cut off all the attachment the king felt for his son. This is not my son. Soul has no sons, no wife, no children. This knowledge dawned in him. All the shackles of material existence were destroyed by hearing the instructions from his own son. Just like an elephant shakes off mud, Chitraketu shook off all the ignorance he felt and came out shining. Like an elephant, he takes bath, he comes out shining. The king gave, by these instructions, the king gave up all fear, lamentation, illusion and pain. So Guru Maharaj says, this is not written anywhere, but Guru Maharaj said, how can a child give this type of instruction? So Guru Maharaj explains what happened to Angira, who gave the blessing. He realized this man can have no son. It's not there. So Angira Rishi, he gave the benediction, then he himself entered the womb, Ananta, still awake? And Gita gave the blessing, you will have a son. Then the saint, by his mystic power, he entered the womb of the king's wife. He became the child, the Guru. That's his mystic power. Then he arranged himself to take birth. He arranged himself to grow up. He arranged himself to be poisoned by his co-mothers. He arranged himself to die. He arranged himself to be brought to life so he could give proper instructions to the king. Guru Maharaj says that, and Gita Rishi's mystic power. No? When the queens, the co-wives who had poisoned the child, they heard all this, they also gave up all their desire for a son. No? They felt shame at their activities. No? So they performed the funeral celebrations of the child. No? The queens also did some austerities to destroy the sin, the karma of killing a child. So the king detached himself from material life. He'd got the mantra from Narad, and he chanted this mantra. We are lucky, Rishi. Our mantra is only 32 syllables. Hare, 8 words. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Right? Listen to the mantra he got. Om Namaste Bhagavate Vasudeva Dhimhi Pradyumnaya Aniruddha Namaha Sankasanascha Namo Vijnana. Like Satyuga, they hear once, they can remember. But now people are so foolish, it's like liberation for dummies. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. But the same potency is there. So his mantra is huge. It goes for many verses. We can hear it, why not? We have time, right? You going anywhere tonight? Anything planned, Richie?
Maybe feel better.
Okay, we'll just hear this little bit of this mantra. Maybe no need because it's a bit confusing for everyone. No? Anyway, yes, if you explain the mantra, you need many days. No? Oh Krishna, no, you are personified bliss. You are completely transcendental to the material world, the waves of material nature. My Lord, I offer my pranam to you, my obeisances. You are the supreme controller of the senses, and all your expansions are unlimited. You are the greatest. I offer my respectful obeisances to you. My words and mind cannot approach you. You are the supreme Lord. Material names and forms are not applicable to you, who are entirely spiritual, beyond the concept of gross and subtle form. The impersonal aspect is another of your features. Please protect us. As pots are made of earth and broken again and merge into earth, the creation comes and goes from you, who remains separate from it. Okay, anyway, when iron put into fire becomes red hot, has the same potency to burn. When you manifest in the body, mind and senses of your devotee, that person also becomes like you. Many things. Big mantra. Chant this mantra. In 7 days you'll see the Lord face to face. So Chitraketu did. No? After only 1 week of chanting this mantra, received from Gurudev, Chitraketu achieved all perfection. How many years you're chanting, Yamuna? How old are you now? 37, right? 36. Seen Krishna yet? Why not?
Too many desires?
Chitraketu saw in 1 week. How many years you're chanting?
17.
How many years Devotee chanting? Why? Because our mind's going everywhere. But King has been there and done that. So Didi says actually, our problem is we're in Maya. But even we're not fixed in Maya, illusion. We have desires, but we're not even fixed. If we have a wife, we're looking at this one. If you have a husband, looking at this one. Right? Our mind is not even fixed in properly material existence. Right? Chitraketu, he was fully absorbed. Once he had his son, he was fully absorbed in that. All he just needed was that absorption just to be transferred to Krishna. And he did it. That's why in 7 days he saw the Supreme Lord face to face. Attachment is not bad, but attachment is in the right place, it gives quick result. So in 7 days he saw, and we can tell a little bit. Sometimes devotee had desire. So king had desire, I want to sing nicely. That's not a bad desire. I want to sing nicely for Krishna. Like, you see how's our choir here, Rishi? These singers are terrible, right? The mridanga player is retarded with 2 left hands, right? So it's maybe you have some, I wish next life I could be good singer, good musician. I was going to say magician. So king had some desire. I want to sing nicely. This is not bad. It's not against devotion. So he became a demigod. He took birth again. No, generally should not take birth again, but sometime devotee also accept for some special service. Like Didi says, no. One time Didi said, no, this life what we have everything. We don't mind taking birth again, just as long as we get Gurudev, we get Thakurji, we get Prasad, we get all Vrindavan, then devotee happy to take birth again and again. Devotee not afraid of taking birth, they're afraid of forgetting Krishna. So Chitraketu became a demigod, a Vidyadhara. In the higher planetary systems, where the ETs live, right, the demigods like the Vidyadharas. So they're expert in music. And he was surrounded by so many celestial women, but he not paid any attention to that. He just absorbed in singing Krishna's names, forms, qualities, activities. So, but the problem is in the celestial planets, there's no topics of Krishna, because everyone there's mad for enjoyment. So Chitraketu felt some lacking. I want to hear about Krishna. So he went to Lord Shiva's planet. You know Shiva, you've heard about him, right? Shiva has no material possessions. He has mostly even no clothes. And his wife is the material nature. But he never pays any attention to her. He's fully absorbed in Krishna Prem, love of Krishna. So Chitraketu went to his planet to hear something. So normally when someone gives a lecture, they should be proper. But when he went to Shiva's planet, Shiva was buck naked, fully naked. If I gave a lecture on if I gave a naked lecture on Facebook, I'd be banned. Everyone would think this guy's an idiot, nonsense, mad. But Shiva naked and give a lecture, no problem.
Wasn't his wife sitting on his lap?
His wife was sitting on his lap. Imagine a beautiful lady sitting on your lap and you're speaking about Krishna, Rishi. What would happen? Don't tell us, but mind would be there, right? If a beautiful woman is there on your lap, your mind would be there. But Shiva is so great. The personified material nature, his potency, his wife, was on his lap, but no effect. He's just speaking about Krishna. He's high class. I mean, he's fully free from all sex desire, anything. So Chitraketu went to listen to the lecture, and he'd never seen this before. So he laughed. Not in a bad way. He laughed in a way, only Shiva can do this. Only he has that type of character. So he laughed, not in a way to put Shiva down, but he laughed in a way, how great is Shankar. Only he can do like that. So Shankar also laughed because he could understand the mind of Chitraketu. But his wife became angry. It is not her fault also. Because husband is insulted, then wife naturally becomes angry. So she has so much love for Shiva, so she became angry. And she said to Chitraketu, who the hell you think you are? You are a new guy. Just come now, first time. I mean, just now you achieve perfection. But Shiva, eternally liberated. There was never a time he was not perfect. So the new guy, right? The new guy comes on the construction site and he gives an instruction. Does anyone listen? Hey, you're the new guy. So Parvati said, you're the new fellow. Who are you? Who are you to give instruction to Jagat Guru Shiva? No. No one else gave instruction. And she said many places, Lord Brahma, the Guru of the universe, he not said anything. Four Kumaras not said anything. Narada and other great saintly persons not gave any instruction to Shiva. But this new guy, new fellow, he thinks he's the chastiser of everyone, the Guru of everyone. Your mood is not proper. Your mood, you have demonic nature. I will see the fault in Lord Shiva. So you don't belong here. You're a demon. I curse you. Take birth as a demon. Yeah? So Chitraketu immediately got off his aeroplane because he was a demigod and he did obeisances. Actually, Guru Maharaj said he was so powerful he could have cursed her back very easily, but he did not. He bowed his head. Oh mother, He said, Mother, I have not insulted Shiva. I have not done so. I have not made offense. No. But if you think I've made offense, then I also apologize for that. No? I accept your curse. I can, anyway, what I remember is that I accept your curse because I know your curse is not giving or happiness or distress. No? My own activities are giving this result, not your curse. So I accept. And ultimately happiness, distress not come from curse, it come from mind. My mind is fixed. I'm not affected by your so-called curse or your so-called blessing. So completely fearless, completely unaffected. He smiled, bowed, and went. So Parvati saw this, and she became astonished. What is this? Normally you curse someone, take birth as a worm and stool, or take birth as a demon, or that person began to cry, become angry. But Chitraketu was like an ocean, no disturbance. So Parvati became amazed. What is this? Who is this guy? Who is he? So Shiva laughed. Oh Parvati, now you understand the glories of the devotees. Just now you see. So Shiva said, no. What is that? Narayana parasarve nakutashna bibhati swarga upavarga narakeshu tulyata samadashana. Just see the glories of the Vaishnavas, those who worship Vishnu. For them, heaven, hell, and liberation is the same for them. They have no interest in either hell, heaven, or liberation. Narayana parasarva, one who is devoted to Narayan, nakutashana bibhati. They do not fear anything. For them, heaven, hell, and liberation is the same. Why? Chitraketu, just say Chitraketu was already on the earth planet. And what was he doing? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Now he went to heaven, he became a demigod. What was he doing? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And now he's cursed to go to hell. What did he do? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Normally devotees should not go to the higher planets. They become free from birth and death. But if they do go, what do they do there? Their devotion does not stop. Devotees should not go to hell, lower planets. But if they do go, what they will do there? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And they do get liberation. What will they do in liberation? Bhavan, have a guess. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They're not disturbed by heaven, hell, or liberation because they're only interested in devotion. They have no interest in anything. So Shiva spoke that famous verse. Just see the glories of the devotees. For them, they are fearless. They have no fear of anything because they're constantly under protection and remembrance of Abhay Charanaravinda Krishna. Krishna will always give fearlessness. So Chitraketu became a demon. It's a long story. We won't tell it tonight. Maybe tomorrow night. You coming again, Richie? Probably. Come again. Just say yes, then I'll feel happy. So how he took birth as a demon, but his devotion was not lost. His devotion was not lost, even though he took birth in a low situation. Because birth is only the body, but not the soul. So this is proof he did not actually make any offense, because his devotion was not destroyed, not checked. So he took birth as a demon, and what happened and everything, we can hear tomorrow night. And you hear his prayers afterwards, beautiful prayers of Chitraketu, beautiful. So touching, so astonishing. So maybe tomorrow night we can speak on that thing. Are there any questions?
So this prayer, not Chitraketu, Vitasura.
Which one?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It's not from Chitraketu mouth, from Vitasura.
Chitraketu became Vritasura,
Okay.
the demon. So it's the same person. But his life is also pretty amazing what happened in there. It's a bit of long history, but it's 6th canto.
Where do those that get liberation go? What is the definition in that term? They're not going to...
5 types of liberation. 5 types. So 4 devotee may accept. Salokya, Sastya, Surup, Ekatropyata, Diyamanam, Nakriya, Binamat, Sevanam. The lowest form of liberation is merging.
Yeah,
Many people want to merge with God, right? Do you think that's a good idea, Richie? Say no.
Is it not a form of liberation?
It's a form of liberation, but it should not be accepted by an intelligent person. Because if you merge with Krishna, how can you love him? You can't. It's finished. Right? You want to merge with chocolate or taste chocolate? Chocolate cannot taste itself. So you merge with the light, you merge with Brahman, you merge with God, you cannot experience it. Because to experience it, you have to be different from it. Chocolate cannot taste itself. You have to be different from chocolate to taste it. So it's a big explanation. Last night we talked. So even if the liberation of merging with God, devotees reject it. Never. Because it's like a punishment. When you want to become God, you don't want to become His servant. So that's rejectable. Sometimes devotees can accept 4 other types of liberation. They go to the planet of Narayan, get the same shape. They go to the same planet. They're near Him, they enjoy everything God enjoys, you enjoy.
Same form.
But devotees of Krishna give up even those 4. No. Krishna says, come with me, Janaki, to Vaikuntha, what will you say? No, it's alright. I want to go Vrindavan. I want Radha Krishna. So even the Supreme Lord offers these liberations. Devotee prays, I just want to serve. I don't want any liberation. But who thinks like that, all liberation follows them anyway. It says, Mukti Swaya Makala Chandajot Stevatos. Liberation stands like this at the feet of the devotee. Can I serve you? No, get lost. Okay. Mukti Kahoye Gopal Se Mera Mukti Patave. Brajaraj Mustak Lagar Mukti Mukti Patave. They say, liberation, pray to Krishna. Everyone prays to me for liberation, but who's going to liberate me? So Krishna said, you put some foot dust, my foot dust, the foot dust of Vrindavan on your head, and that will liberate you from liberation. Okay. Maybe not understand Rishi, but come tomorrow night. But liberation bad. Service good. Because liberation is, it's said, we were talking all this last night to this lady, but very few people understand. Krishnadasa Abhimane and understand the feeling I am Krishna's servant, maidservant, is like an ocean of happiness. And merging with Krishna is like one drop. I said, Lord Dhruva said, the happiness of serving Krishna like an ocean. How much water in an ocean? No one can count. And the happiness of merging is like the water contained in the footprint of a calf. It means nothing, is it? Nothing, is it? TK, okay?
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
You said that when we devote, be careful what you ask for, because Krishna has a way of arranging it so you'll never ask it again. But then there's people that aren't, you know, on the spiritual path, not Krishna conscious, or even non-devotees, but they're learning all the time from their mistakes and going, oh my God, I'm not.
And then doing the same thing again.
Some are, but many people are like, oh, you know, eventually the penny drops, or even if it doesn't, it's like, oh, be careful what I ask for, because I should have been more specific, because you get that perfect boyfriend, but then he's not X, Y, and Z, and you go, I don't want a boyfriend anymore because of that, yeah? Example. Now, is that their Chaita Guru inside them that's advising them?
Something.
Because you're saying we're devotees.
But normal materialists, they're just in material life.
But they're still bettering themselves, a lot of them. So
But therefore, if you're going to ask something, ask from Krishna.
yeah.
That's the best.
That's what we do, but they might ask from some goddess or from God or from some.
They cannot get the same result.
Hmm.
Krishna has his own special plan. Someone who takes shelter of Krishna, then Krishna is responsible for them. Who doesn't take shelter of Krishna, then why Krishna is responsible for them? Independent. That's why many times you see devotees, like,
a lot of hell.
they suffer like crazy.
I know.
If they do something, they suffer like crazy.
And then some more.
Krishna gives them this
You're
special
also
mercy.
burning up a lot in one life, aren't you?
Just don't put any more fuel on the fire.
Yeah.
Don't put any more fuel. Okay. Any questions, Janaki?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Nice history today. I told very quickly, but it's so nice history. So good advice. Yes, Ananta.
We know that real Vaishnava, they tolerate everything, like if somebody pries them or blame them or want to kill them, they accept everything, like this is Krishna mercy. And we have like 2 examples, like Haridas Thakur, he accepts the beating even there's who beat him, they ask him, don't die, so he faint.
Yeah.
Another example is also our Acharya, Madhavacharya. When the Gundas attack him, he beat them or even killed them.
Yeah, he killed like 100 of them.
Yeah.
Really?
There was one saint, Madhvacharya. He was in the forest and some criminals, highway robbers attacked him. He killed 100 of them with his bare hands. We're in the Madhva Sampradaya.
So
They're showing different glories.
my question is like,
Different glories they
we are
have to
not,
show.
we are not like a real Haridas Thakur to tolerate everything. How we can distinguish when we should do something or just accept, tolerate what we get in life?
Like Gurudev's Guru. Should I tell a story? If I do, I'm going to go offline.
Yeah, I know.
No, you don't. What?
You want really
Huh?
threw the stones and then he
Nah,
said,
that's nothing.
Go on then.
Now Rishi's interested. Sometime, a devotee may have to do even something extraordinary for Krishna's service according to time, place, circumstance. Like, our Gurudev's Guru, when he was a young man, like 16, he took charge of all the properties of his Guru and was managing it, because his Guru was another mind and not just chanting and thinking and remembering. So he was in charge of managing it. He was only like 16, 17. So that area was a lot of Muslims. So there was one leader of the Muslim criminal community, and he led an attack on the temple. And all the devotees were running away for fear, but our Gurudev's Gurudev, Param Gurudev, he took a knife and went straight for the leader and cut his throat.
Whoa.
But didn't kill him. But cut his throat. And this story was told me by a guy who used to live there. This Muslim, he lived after having his throat cut. He had a huge scar like this, all across his neck. But he used to say, Vinod Brahmachari, he gave me this. So devotees sometime, what's necessary for that situation. He could have also done like that and let the Muslims killed and everything. He could have done very easily. At that time, not good. Necessary that time to protect the other devotees, protect the property of Krishna. So that time necessary.
Did he become a devotee or?
No, he was a Muslim. But
But
he
he used to
had
come to
deep
the
respect.
Deep respect.
He never was angry. He used to go. Vinod. He used to praise him. Because then the Muslims, they feared him, no?
Yeah.
They feared him. Everyone else was running for their life. He wasn't running. He went straight for the source. Great story, huh? And he used to go.
Brilliant.
Vinod.
Where was that in Bengal? Mayapur.
I shouldn't tell this story, but you cannot just say devotees should act like this, because they're extraordinary persons, no? Some they do what's necessary.
But how we can know that we
Anyway,
can do something or
act according to what comes naturally. For him it was natural to go and do that.
He's protecting his Gurudev.
Protecting everyone else.
Yeah.
For himself, who knows what he'd do? He wouldn't care too much, probably.
No. Lion, isn't it?
Difficult to say. Scare you off? Someone told that story once.
there was one devotee from America.
One boy, as a boy, that Muslim used to drive his rickshaw to school, and he told him that when he was a kid. And he told me that story.
The boy did.
The Muslim told the boy, this was given
He's
to
devotee. this boy.
Okay.
Pram Govinda. Interesting.
Mm.
So devotee can be hard like a thunderbolt, soft like a rose. Depends on situation.
It's mercy in that, isn't it?
Gurudev was like that. Gurudev, when he joined the temple, then
He was.
Gurudev was like the Indian police, and Indian police means beats everyone. So when he was young, he joined the temple, and he was with another senior devotee, and they used to go to the market to bargain for vegetables. So when the farmers would go to the market on their way, they'd, hey, we'll take the whole lot and give a cheap price, like that. So one day there was some argument with the farmers, and the farmers beat another devotee on the head with a piece. And this devotee was knocked, and some blood came. So when Gurudev saw the blood on the head of this devotee, then he took a stick of bamboo and knocked that farmer out. Knocked him clean out. And all the others ran away. Then they came back looking for Gurudev. No? Then Gurudev went straight to his Gurudev. This happened. And all the farmers were looking for him. And so Gurudev said, stay in my bed, don't come out. So all the farmers came with like 50 or 60. And they went to Param Gurudev. That means his Gurudev's Guru. What happened? Oh, one of your devotees knocked out one of our farmers. This is a true story, no? Swanalada's like, oh my God. So Param Gurudev said, what did he look like? He was very tall and thin and he had white cloth. And Param Gurudev said, no devotee like that lives. Look, we all have red cloth. It must have been an outside person. And they're looking, they couldn't find him because he was under the bed hiding. No? Anyway, Richie's like, what is this?
He ain't coming back tomorrow.
Just say, like, for the what's necessary for the service of Krishna, they can do anything. Sometime like this, sometime like that. Can't just put them in a category. They will be always humble and meek. Sometimes that humility manifests in another way. To protect them, I will stand up. Yes, Gurudev was funny. But sometimes when humble, he also more humble than, like, there's a story. When they were doing construction in Mathura, there was one juice man. His brother is still there. I sometimes used to buy juice off him. He told this story. You know? So when they were doing the roof, some like gravel and stuff fell on this guy's juice stand. No big deal, right? But this juice man started going off, abusing. And many neighbors came round. So Gurudev went out to pacify them. So this juice guy was drinking tea, so he threw it in Gurudev's face. Gurudev could have smashed him to pieces, but he didn't. He just went. No. Didn't fight, didn't shout, didn't become angry. Just went like that. Then he went in. The next day, that man was run over by a truck. Gurudev wasn't driving it, but the next man, that man was killed in a road accident. And all the neighbors, they all become afraid. Oh, really? That man did offense to a saint by throwing china, and look what happened. Immediately he got resolved. So then all these guys became like that to Gurudev.
Wow.
So, according to what's necessary, they know best what is necessary in the situation. Hare Krishna. Just hope that didn't go live.
Oh, you recording it? Were you on
Yes.
Facebook?
Facebook.
Did you cut it off?
No, I didn't.
So it was live.
Voice live.
It was live.
It was live.
These are all true stories, no harm people here. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaur Hari Bol. When we first bought Krishna Balaram, the next door neighbor, he's trying to steal some land on them. He came with a gun and threatened Maharaj, who was just a boy. Then Didi came with an iron bar. He didn't come back. Didi's like 5 foot tall. So sometimes necessary.
Wow.
Chalo. Okay, thank you for coming. I haven't told that story. It means Chitraketu for many years.
Wow.
Nice story. I forget how good it is.
I remember reading it.